Hi guys, how's it going? As I'm sure you've probably seen from like 1,000 other YouTubers, we got ourselves some story summaries today. But story summaries are not really what I'm interested in. It is the staff lists that come out at the same time. The story stuff we got today is from AnimeAjay, and we may get AnimeAjay in the future, which tends to have a little bit more detail. So for people who aren't aware of how these staff lists tend to work, they're usually incomplete and they can sometimes be wrong, so don't take everything I'm about to say as sort of 100% gospel. This is kind of just like a rough idea of what's going to be happening. I'll try not to say too much about story spoilers. That's not really my thing. That's not really the point of this channel. But of course I will have to mention the very vague sort of this is the kind of thing that will be in the episode, just so we have some context, so some fair warning if you're trying to avoid spoilers entirely. So let's jump right in. Episode 111, this is following the special, this is Hit versus Jiren. The writer is Atsuhiro Tomioka, who's a very solid character writer. He tends to write some pretty interesting character moments. Everyone tends to feel in character. His action writing is not necessarily the most interesting thing in the world, but he's more than competent. But for me, I think the most interesting part of this, and why I think it's going to be a pretty damn good episode, is because of the director, Toshiaki Komura, who was the series director of Tiger Mask W, who he also led some Procure series in the past. He's directing this, and he's very good. He worked on Super in the past in a very small capacity back during the retelling arcs. He storyboarded some episodes there. They were okay, but I think considering the schedule back then, I don't think it's exactly representative. But like I said, his work on other shows is very, very good. So I think that's probably something to really look forward to. The animation supervisors, we have Chihiro Tanaka from Studio One Pack. Again, Yui Kinoshita doesn't seem to be taking the lead anymore. I don't know if she's busy. Maybe she'll still be on the episode, maybe she'll be an assistant or just a regular key animator. But again, I'm hoping that someone at One Pack realized that she's not very good at drawing Dragon Ball. The other supervisor listed is Yasuhiro Namatame, who we last saw, or I last covered in detail rather, in episode 103 in the staff roundup. They are from Tiger Mask, so we do have a Tiger Mask pairing here. I'm not really too sure what to expect from them. In their previous episodes, they didn't really display much of a style. Everything was kind of corrected, so we'll see what happens there. It shouldn't matter too much. I think it's important to remember that episode 107, which was like one of the greatest episodes of the tournament so far, didn't have the strongest supervisors or key animators, but it was so good because of the direction, and I'm hoping that we'll see the same thing here. Next up is 112, which is kind of like a Vegeta Kaba reunion master pupil kind of thing. This is written by Toshlo Yoshitaka, who I think everyone knows at this point is just one of the best, if not the best, writer on Super at the moment. He absolutely understands characters. He knows how to write interesting scenarios. It should be perfect for this whole master pupil moment. The storyboard is being done by Naotoshi Shida. Don't get too excited, that probably doesn't mean he's key animating. He very rarely does both at the same time, the exception being episode 95. His storyboards aren't typically the most outstanding things in the world. They're usually competent enough, but they're not mind-blowing. I think episode 95 was probably his best work. It was pretty strong. So hopefully it follows that kind of path rather than falling back on his sort of middle-of-the-road stuff that we've seen previously. Only one animation supervisor is listed here, Koji Nashizawa. Like I said, these staff lists, the first one we get, are usually incomplete, so we may get another supervisor next to him later down the line. I think a lot of people do like Nashizawa. He's got a pretty clean style. It's very close to the model sheets. It's easy to digest. So I think the success of this episode will probably hinge on him and the staff. It's directed by Takao Iwai, who I have to say he's not my favorite director on Super. His episodes in the past have just been kind of okay. Some exceptions here and there, but considering he directed the original Vegeta and Kaba episode back in the Universe 6 arc, I think it's pretty appropriate that he would direct the follow-up. So it should be okay. I think this will be an episode to sort of keep an eye on and sort of half look forward to, but not get too excited. Episode 113 then, this is the rematch of Goku versus Caulifla. This one is written by Fukushima, who is just... yeah, I mean, he's arguably Super's worst writer. He doesn't really seem to understand Super's characters. His scenarios are really uninteresting. He was responsible for the vast majority of the whole Goku flanderization that really bothered me in the previous arcs. I don't have masses of faith in this episode being that interesting. It's directed by Hideki Hiroshima, who's, again, he's a bit middle of the road. I don't have masses of faith about this episode, especially since there are 3 storyboard artists, which doesn't really speak, which doesn't really fill me with positivity when it comes to the schedule. But one thing that does stick out, one thing that's definitely a positive, is Yoshitaka Yoshima, who we know normally is a supervisor in the series. He solo animates things. He's returned to storyboarding here. He's not key animating, he's not, supervising as far as we're aware, but he is storyboarding, and his storyboards are really nice. I think me and Wes have spoken about this in the past on our little roundup videos, and yeah, he's got talent, so this should look interesting, at least his section. Again, 3 storyboard artists, they'll all do a section each. At the very least, Yoshima's will look nice. For me, the most redeeming aspect of this episode is the supervisors. Hirotaka Nii and Masahiro Shimanuki are here. I'm not a huge fan of Hirotaka Nii's style. It's not really my thing. It's a bit too angular for my tastes, but a lot of people seem to like him, and we have seen him lead action episodes in the past just fine. He's definitely capable, at the very least. Alongside him is Masahiro Shimanuki, who I feel like at this point just speaks for himself. He's been on the series for so long, both, Super and back in the old days. We know what he's capable of. It should be fine for his section, so no doubts here. Lastly, episode 114, Berserker Kale is back. Broly returns. This is somehow the best and worst thing in the world. On one hand, I'm terrified that it's going to be an episode 100 situation again, where I'm just turned off the series because she's screaming, "Oh, Son Goku," over and over again. I don't want that. But no, the positive side of things is that Yuya Takahashi is supervising. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that we knew this was happening for like a couple of weeks now, just because of him DMing someone I know and letting us know that, one, he was going to be on the special and do stuff like that, but also that he was going to supervise at some point in the future. This is both like a good thing and a bad thing that it's coming so soon. Like on one thing, on one hand, yay, Takahashi episode in like the next month. On the other hand, it does probably mean that his work on the special will be short, but I guess we'll see. I think this will be one of the better looking episodes of Super. He has such an amazing old school style. If you do follow him on Twitter, he tends to post sketches here and there, and his Dragon Ball stuff has just looked amazing. Especially one recently where he kind of like drew Goku across all the different eras, and it just looked so nice. So that is a big positive. The downside of this episode, aside from the writing, is the director. Masanori Sato is just kind of He's not bad, but he's never done anything that's really stood out to me in the past, so I'm not 100% convinced with that. I feel like the odds are kind of stacked against this episode in terms of being like the complete package, but at the very least it will look good. So that is it. If we do get any sort of major updates in the future when the other magazines start to come out, I'll let you guys know. I'm sure it won't be particularly different. They very rarely change that much. It usually is just a case of, oh, here's the supervisor that's with this guy. It's not a big change. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm doing a very similar thing in a video that comes out tomorrow where we talk about, one, who the staff are going to be on the special, and just a couple of predictions about sort of what the quality will be like. I thought it'd be interesting to do. I know a lot of YouTubers tend to do predictions on story stuff, and that's not my interest, but considering we actually have sort of cold, hard facts about staff here, I thought these types of videos would probably be appropriate for the channel. Let me know if this is the type of content you're interested in. If it's not, well, we'll just scrap it. That's that's fine, but I thought I'd sort of test the waters here. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the video tomorrow. I'm trying to keep a good schedule going right now. Won't necessarily be 3 videos on the trot like we're doing this week, but it'll definitely be a lot more regular than usual, hopefully. So thanks for watching. Drop me a rating, a comment, let me know what you thought, and I will see you next time.